Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. The Hourglass Holiday Collection has been launched and I have one of the three items here with me today. This is the Ambient Lighting Palette Edit Universe. So this palette has a shelf life of 12 months and it is made in Italy, like previous ambient lighting edit palettes from Hourglass, which are all made in Italy and have a shelf life of 12 months. I do have two of their other ambient lighting edit palettes, Ghost from 2019, so we will do some comparisons, as well as Sculpture from last year, 2020. A bit about the product description from the website. This is available for the holiday season. Universe features 4 brand new shades of ambient lighting powder, the groundbreaking finishing powder that recreates the most flattering light sources. Along with Infinity Powder, it includes 4 limited edition shades of blush, bronzer, and highlighter. The name Universe and the design of the palette are inspired by the unique swirled texture of the powders. So these are the swirls that they're referencing, which channel a celestial glow. The powders are handmade using the advanced micellar technique. I think that's how you say it, probably not. Meaning no two are exactly alike. So I think this is really cool. It's a departure from their kind of reflective packaging. And the Ghost packaging was a little bit different too because the back is noticeably plastic, and I think some of us had some issues or disappointments with that, understandably. This one is, you can think of it as basically like a tin can, and therefore even though the amount of product you get inside is the same as previous palettes, it actually does feel weightier just because this is different. And some people might not be a fan of this new packaging, but I actually really like it. Marble, swirls, and all that is a bit overdone these days, but I still think that, you know, they're trying to do something new and it's still beautiful. I especially like how it just lights up. And I think it is very much on theme with the whole concept of the ambient powders. These powders are supposed to reflect light in such a way that, you know, softens up your complexion and just gives you that very natural glow, as if you have like the perfect lighting on your face. And so with this, as you move it and these swirls just light up, I think it's really on theme. So that's probably the biggest draw for me in terms of the packaging. On the back of the compact, you have the names of all these powders and their uses, and it also comes with kind of like an instruction sheet. They all do. We will be using all of the products today. As you can see, I do have my foundation, you know, my eye makeup is done, so we're just gonna focus on applying all of these powders. Before we go into demo, I am going to do swatches, and we will also do some comparisons at the end. So I have the Infinity Powder here, the highlight, and the 2 blushes. So this is the Infinity Powder, the highlight, the lighter blush, and the deeper blush here. I will name them or read the names really shortly after I finish swatching the bronzer. This is the bronzer. As you guys know, the all over face finishing powder is called Infinity Powder, and the highlight is a strobe powder called Supernatural Strobe Light. And then we have here the bronzer, which is called Glistening Bronze Light. And then for the 2 blushes, this is a strobe blush called Vibrant Heat, and then this is a blush called Luminous Rose. Really pretty. I'm looking forward to, actually, to be honest, I think I'm looking more forward to Luminous Rose. It's a deeper shade, but I think it'll match my eye look today. And when I look at previous palettes that I have of theirs, typically the blushes are on the brighter side. So having something that's a bit more mauve-y, deeper tone is pretty exciting. Actually, this one's deeper tone as well, but yeah, but the rose, luminous rose, looks kind of promising. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and apply the all over face powder. I also do like how the finishing powder here, instead of being, you know, 2 squares, it's just one. It's a bigger space for you to go in for an all over face brush. So I'm gonna take my brush and just swirl it. Okay. So that is with 2 very generous applications, and it's the most subtle. I do see just everything looking like a little bit smoother and has a bit more reflective quality than this side. I'm going to go into Luminous Rose first on the right side of my cheek. And that is a pretty shade. Turned out brighter than I thought it would be, actually. Let me apply the all over face powder on the left side of my face, and then we're going to go in to the Vibrant Heat blush. So this is Luminous Rose, and this is Vibrant Heat. Then I'm going to go into Glistening Bronze Light, and just going to warm up my complexion. So this is with all the powders applied, and in my vanity mirror I can really tell, you know, I have more layers of product on, but it does look, everything looks a bit smoother. And I think the bronzer is more than adequate for my skin tone to really like warm everything up as if I had just been out in the sun. I'm going to go in now with a fan brush to see if I can use the bronzer for a bit of contouring right here. I do believe that it is deep enough for that, but let's just give it a try. So I think it does okay with contouring. I mean, I've got some work here to do to better blend it out. But I think you can, if you have light to medium skin tone, I think this is like a more than adequate shade. And then lastly, we're going to go into the highlight. Supernatural Strobe Light. Line down to the high points. All right, now I've truly applied all the powders from the palette, and these are beautiful powders. Everything looks really smooth. The highlighter didn't really grab onto any texture. The blushes themselves offer some lumosity, so I feel like I am very glowing, but not overly so. And even with the bronzer, all over face powder, the blushes, and the highlight, it doesn't feel like it's like that I've overdone it. I think it still looks fairly natural. All right, so for lipstick, I'm going to use Lisa Eldridge's Luxurious Lucent lipstick in the shade Painterly. I love this shade. It gives you that bitten lip look. Okay, so let's go in to do some comparisons with previous years. What I have here is from 2019. This is the Ambient Lighting Edit Ghost. So let's go in and swatch the 2 finishing powders. And really the way that I use them is I go in with my brush on both. It's such a small area that if you want to use one and not the other, you're probably going to get some of the other, just because they're in close proximity, and again, the pans are really small. I think shade-wise, this may look close to the Infinity Powder, but this is actually notably warmer. This is quite cool in comparison. Then we have the highlighter, which is Iridescent Strobe Light, and then Iridescent Rose, and Sublime Flush, 2 blushes, followed by the bronzer, Eternal Bronze Light. I think the blushes, how you have a brighter, lighter, like very pink blush, and then a deeper blush is just very similar to how they decided to include these two in the new palette, in the Universe palette, but they're not the same. The shades are not the same. This one is a little bit more red than this kind of lighter pink, and then this here is obviously a bit more brown than it is rosy. And the same iridescence though, these two blushes have the same iridescence. As for the bronzer, I would say this bronzer has a bit more red in it as well, but the difference is not, I don't think it's that big. I think this is a bit redder, this is a bit cooler. So overall, the Ghost Edit palette is cooler compared to Universe. And taking another look at the description from Universe on the blushes, this blush here is a strobe blush, Vibrant Heat, so it has quite a bit of shimmer and glisten to it. And this here is a blush powder that doesn't have, it's not supposed to have the same glisten and shimmer. However, it's called Luminous Rose, so this one has some shimmer too, whereas here, this one is a blush powder, and it's called Sublime Flush. So it has the ambient powder quality to it, but no shimmer, and it has just like a sheen like the ambient powders. So both of the blushes from this year's palette has shimmer finishes to them. One is more obvious than the other. This one being the strobe blush is more obvious. Okay, moving on to Sculpture. Sculpture from 2020, this was last year. These two finishing powders is a repeat from the previous year, so we won't swatch those, but we can swatch these for here. So we have the highlighter here, Glistening Strobe Light. It is actually deeper than the highlighter from this year. The two blushes are, all right, we have the highlighter, Glistening Strobe Light. Compared to this year, it is much deeper. And then compared to even 2019, it is a much deeper highlighter. More bronzy, I would say. And then we have the two blushes. This is a blush powder, so there's no really glisten. It has that ambient powder sheen to it. This is Mood Exposure. Followed by the Pinky Light Blush, is a strobe blush, so it has shimmer and glisten to the finish, and that's Vibrant Flush. Then we have the bronzer here, which is called Natural Bronze Light, and the bronzer too doesn't have much shimmer to it. It is, you know, it has that ambient powder sheen. So compared to this year, the bronzer, I think has a bit more, like a touch more glisten. It looks smoother versus not quite matte, but it doesn't have that same kind of reflective quality to it. So here you go. The Universe palette is currently sold out on Hourglass's website, but there are some other retailers you can get it off of. I'll have it in the description below wherever I find anybody still carrying it or still have it in stock. I'm sure more retailers like Sephora in the near future will be carrying this palette as well. That is my demo and review of the Hourglass Holiday Palette, Ambient Lighting Edit Universe. And I do like how everything looks. It's very smooth, it looks sophisticated, but not too much. It doesn't look like you have a lot of makeup on. I think it just looks like I have some really, I have really great skin, like awesome foundation. You pair the two, it just makes it look very flawless. But it is the work of these fantastic powders. If you are concerned with this palette being too deep for your skin tone, if you have light to medium, I think even if you have light skin, this should work on you. It should be fine. I think there were some concerns around that. Now, if you are very, very fair, that I can't speak to. But light to medium, maybe medium, but on the lighter side of that, this palette could still work for you. The other products they released, part of their holiday collection, also worth looking at, is going to be a different palette. It is called, I'm pulling it up now, Ambient Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked, and I think Unlock has deeper shades that is suitable for medium to deeper skin tone, and it notably has a purple blush and it looks really beautiful, and I almost actually did get that as well, but I figured there's so much holiday makeup, I need to really pick and choose. And then on top of that, they also released the Ambient Lighting Palette Volume 3, aimed for ladies with deep skin tones. The verdict is out on whether, this is truly deep skin tone friendly. I've heard mixed comments looking at the photos online versus the swatches, but some of you guys have told me you do like it, so I'll be looking at reviews. I'm curious as well. Yeah, but I do like the Universe palette on skin tone like mine. I think it looks great. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys very soon. Take care. Bye.